for tuning into Heirs TV.
Today's topic, we're going to talk about too busy to be a pay attention. That'll be our topic today. Too busy to pay attention. Let's do Proverbs 19. Let's start there. Verse 27. It says, cease, my son, to hear instruction. It says, cease to hear instruction that causes to err from the words of knowledge. So, you know, as the prophet was, the man of God was talking, he said, listen, son, he says, don't listen to any instruction that will cause you to err, cause you to miss the mark just a little bit from the words of knowledge. You know, we learn that a parallel scripture is Psalms 1:1-3. It says, walk not in the counsel of the ungodly. And so basically when it says, try to watch just absorbing anything, because what you do, if you're taking too many voices, you can't hear the voice. You know, when the prophet was, when God was trying to talk to the prophet and break down to him how to hear from him, there was a big earthquake, and it said, and God wasn't there. There was a storm, and God wasn't there. There's a mighty wind, and God wasn't there. Then it said there was a still small voice. So that's what he was saying in Proverbs 19. He says, watch listening to too many voices. That's going to distract you from hearing from me. And then let's go to Luke 10, Luke chapter 10. And Luke chapter 10, we'll start here with verse 38. It says, now it came to pass as they went, that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. And heard, key point here is heard his word. It says, but Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she should help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful, full of care, and troubled about many things. He says, but one thing is needful, and Mary has chosen the good part, which shall not be taken away from her. So what he's basically saying, same thing. Martha was too busy to pay attention, but Mary was dialed in and locked in, understanding that there's a limited amount of time that I could process and get this particular information. So I'm going to make sure I'm prioritizing what I need. Right now, I need to be sitting at Jesus' feet, not being careful or full of care about many things. And Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I'm God. Exodus 14:13 and 14, scriptures we use all the time here. Fear not, don't panic, don't worry, don't try to consider all the circumstances, and stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. So that scripture in Proverbs 19 is telling us to cease taking in too many voices that's going to cause you to err from hearing the voice at the particular time, locking in. And then we read in Luke 10. And then what's the other scripture? Let's go to Matthew 8, which we've read this in a few different types of teachings, but it really speaks to what we're talking about here. We just start at verse 5. I'm just going to try to walk through this. It says, and when Jesus was entered into Capernaum and came unto the centurion beseeching him and saying, Lord, my servant lieth home sick of palsy, torment. And Jesus said unto him, I will come and heal him. And the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou should come under my roof. He said, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. He says, for I'm a man under authority, and I have soldiers under me. I say, go, and they go, and they goeth. And he says, and to another come, and he cometh, and to my servant do this, and he doeth it. And when Jesus heard it, he marveled and said unto them that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not all in Israel. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, but the children of the kingdom shall be cast out, but the children of the kingdom shall be cast out in the outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing. And Jesus said unto the centurion, go thy way, thy servant Go thy way as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed the very same hour. And when Jesus was come to Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother lay sick of fever, and touched her hand. And the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. And when even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. It says, and when Jesus saw a great multitude about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus said unto him, foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. And another of his disciples, he said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go bury my father. But Jesus said unto him, follow me, let the dead bury the dead. And when he entered into the ship, the disciples followed him. Behold, there arose a great tempest, insomuch that the ship was covered with waves, and Jesus was asleep. It says, and his disciples came to him and awoke, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he said unto them, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was great calm. But the men marveled, saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? And so when you look through the process, you look at cares came up to Jesus. Cares, you had sickness and disease, whether it was devil, whether it was torment, you had winds, and no matter what, Jesus responded accurately because he heard from God and he processed that wisdom. Well, you had the disciples, when he woke up, he said, why are you so fearful? Why are you considering everything but the only thing to take care of the situation, which was to calm the sea? You know, see, he says, I don't want you so caught up into so many of these other things, or basically being too busy to pay attention, right? The scripture says that it says, we have ears, but we hear not. They had eyes, but they hear not. Or basically, they're not understanding. They have eyes, but they see not. They're not perceiving. Basically, we're saying they have ears to hear, but they're not, they're too busy to pay attention. They're not paying attention with those ears. They have eyes to see, but they're not perceiving. They're too busy to really recognize the things that was around them. You hear me talk about it. I talk about it a lot with basketball, but in our life we needed something called quick recognition. We was playing with Kelly and his son Kyron and some other people on Monday. And so Kyron's on my team. So he had some situations where he didn't recognize the quickest opportunity for us to score. And so what we've been trying to teach him is, if you're playing point guard, it's not just about if you can shoot. Everybody can shoot. It's not about if you could dribble. Everybody could dribble. He says, but your job is to recognize the right time to get the ball in the right person's hand at the right time, in the right way even. Because me and Kelly was talking about this morning in playing, and we were saying that we noticed that the guys have not learned how to create points for other people, how to assist other people in scoring. And so what we're saying is how to make sure when the person catches the ball, they don't have to think about nothing but taking the shot. As opposed to they got to catch the ball, figure out how to hold the shot, figure out how to reposition themselves to take the shot. All that takes seconds off, and that's not giving them an opportunity to score. But if you recognize it quick, in the right timing, you can take advantage, and normally you get to win. And so what I was sharing with them is I said some of the young guys like to score more than they like to win. He said, and that's interesting, because I was talking to a young man, and the young man said, he played well. He says, well, I played well, and he was kind of just relaxed because I played well. But they lost the game. But it didn't look as if it might have bothered him. It didn't look as if it bothered him. But when you like to win, it's different. You know, so what he was instructed was you could have won, playing against one of the best players in the country. And that would have drawn more attention than just, hey, he's a pretty good guy, played well. And so same thing in our life. The scripture tells us in Ephesians 15 to walk circumspectly, to be intentional, to pay attention. Don't be too busy to pay attention. It tells us to redeem the time, to maximize every moment. So every day and every moment, we're paying attention to every little detail. That's the difference. You know, you have my grandchildren here. You got different levels of ages. Well, do you have different levels of paying attention? You know, some of them may not notice anything around them. Some of them may notice everything around them. As everybody grows at the church, we have different levels of people that pay attention. You got somebody walk right by something that's in need of help. They walk right by it. Not because they're cold or they're evil. They just don't pay attention. It's not important to them. And in some cases, when people are still growing and they're young, the only thing they pay attention to is what's going to feel good to them or what's going to benefit them. And that grieves God, because God needs us paying attention to the opportunities that he set up for us to not only benefit ourselves, to benefit other people's lives. But if we just say, no big deal, they'll figure it out. I don't know, somebody else. That's not in my job description. You know, you work at the job, so you got the people that's working with you, and you need them paying attention even when you're not. And then, you know, you show up and you're like, well, is anybody going to do that? Oh, no, that's not. You know, I took care of my shelf. my shelf is spotless. And then they just sitting around like there's nothing else to do. You're going to be here for another 7.5 hours. You might want to help with the other shelves, but that's how people are. If you don't tell them to do anything extra, they're just too busy to pay attention. So what we watch is I heard Jesus said this a lot with disciples and a lot of people. It's like, why? Like, okay, the disciples, he said, what did he tell them? He says, watch the leaven of the Pharisees. So, you know, leaven is what is similar to yeast and things of that nature. So they thought because they forgot to bring the bread that Jesus was talking about, man, Jesus is mad because we forgot the bread. So Jesus discerned it. He said, are y'all paying attention? Why would I be concerned if y'all brought bread? You forgot that we fed 5,000 or 15,000, 5,000 men. We fed 7,000 other men at one time. So if I'm able to feed 12,000 or more people with just a few fishes and a few loaves, why would I be talking about bread? Pay attention. The Pharisees just finished trying to speak some things that was going to distract you from your harmony and your momentum with the knowledge of God. And I was telling you to beware of them. Beware of them, because you may take in what they're saying because it doesn't directly affect you today, but it's enough poison to destroy you tomorrow and everybody you're connected to and you're around. He says, so if you're just walking around like, if everybody's cool, you in trouble, because you're also saying cancer's cool. And I'm not talking about the disease cancer. I'm talking about the person that's actually spewing cancer. You're saying the fear is cool. I'm not talking about the spirit of fear. I'm talking about the person that's carrying the spirit of fear. You're saying lack is cool. I'm not talking about lack itself. I'm talking about the person that's carrying lack, because everybody's cool. Because you don't want to pay attention. Like, you don't want to know, because there's accountability and responsibility. You might have to talk about the pink elephants. You might have to address things. You might have to challenge someone. You may have to challenge something you're doing to put you in a position to challenge the person.
Thanks for tuning into Heirs TV. The completion of this video or entire audio can be accessed at our website at www.heirscc.org or on Heirs CCC channel, YouTube, and Heirs Radio via SoundCloud and iTunes. Donations can be given at our website. Thank you. Remember, at Heirs, we believe we're just what you prayed for.